Cosplay and comic books, cons and crowds. You are now tuned into the Disney Holic Show. Hello and welcome to the Disney Holic Show. That's Mike TV.
And that's Gen Diz. Today we check in with the latest Marvel news out of Comic-Con, then we dive deep into the origins of fan conventions, leading up to the most magical of them all, D23. First things first, just hot off the press, Disney just released a video of the new cruise ship, out of the bag name. Can you guess the name of this one? Do you remember it?
I already see it on our notes here, so I would be lying or fibbing if I said I didn't, but it is called Believe.
Disney Believe. And so they released a teaser video of the new Believe ship, which is part of the Wish class. Not my favorite class of the three classes. But yeah, if you're a Disney Cruise fan, go check that out. I thought that was cute. Now, it doesn't show too much, but it's getting people excited and hyped.
You gotta believe. What's that from?
You gotta believe. That is from Peter Pan's flight at Disneyland.
Parappa the Rappa.
Oh, okay.
Just dropping it back to the old
PlayStation
school.
1, I think. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's OG.
PS1, watch out. I don't think it was called that yet. All right.
Oh yeah, it was just PS. Just PS. Now, one of our favorite sort of fun facts that we sometimes say about Walt Disney is related to a certain celeb. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do. And were you hesitating on trying to find a better word for fun facts?
Yeah. Hmm.
Interesting facts. I don't know.
What is that interesting fact?
Um, some will say, and some will deny that the last words of Walt Disney were someone's name, and it was a child actor at the time, Kurt Russell.
Wow. The computer who wore tennis shoes. He was a big star back then in Disney films and on television.
Yes.
Kurt
Shout out
Russell.
to Dawn for having us watch that one as one of the Patreon takeover cha
Yeah, that was
champs.
a good one. Now, Kurt Russell was just recently on the Kelly Clarkson show. Love her, love the show. She's retiring soon, by the way, from the show.
Oh my God, I was
Now,
gonna say like, oh my
yeah, I don't
God,
think
kill me.
in entertainment, but the show for sure. Now, Kurt Russell was on it, and she asked him questions about what it was like to be a young kid that got to work with Walt Disney. And he was so humble about it and like shy about talking about it, but he was talking about some of the memories and how Walt would ask him, like, what do you think of this and that? And he would say his opinion. And Kelly Clarkson was just gagged, and she was just like, that's so fantastical that that's even a sentence that you can say.
It was, yeah.
Very
It was
cool.
funny. She came in hot. She was like, "You used to give advice to Walt Disney." He's like, "Hold up, like that is not the truth. This is more of what it was like." And then he gave a little story, which was really cool to see. But they did not drop the fun fact here. I
Oh,
was
what
waiting
was?
for her to say it.
Yeah, you mean the interesting fact?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
didn't. Nope, too dark to talk
Too
about.
dark for the Kelly Clarkson show.
Too dark. Other first things first, something just happened this past weekend, which I think I incorrectly thought it was another weekend ago in one of these episodes, but it was just this past weekend, July 23rd to July 23rd to July 26th, San Diego Comic-Con.
Yes, I know. I still have yet to have made it.
I know,
One
same.
day.
Same, but there's a lot of news that came out of there, especially for Disney Marvel Cinematic Universe fans specifically. And in Hall H was which is the big hall where a lot of the big announcements happened. Marvel came back big with their first Hall H panel in 2 years. So sometimes they like to skip around, for whatever reason. Sometimes it's because it's a gap year for D23. This year it is not a gap year, so they just have a lot to share this entire year. Starting with Comic-Con, Kevin Feige hosted. He said this is mostly going to be about the MCU, about the movies, but he did give some nice shout outs to artists and like specifically called them some of them out and had them stand up. And he's like, remember, we couldn't have the movies without the comics. So I thought that was important,
Aw,
especially for
that's great.
Comic Convention. Hello. So
Hello.
everybody who got to go in, the 6,500 attendees who had seats, had received very cool swag, which was a Doctor Doom mask and
Wow.
yeah, and like a green fabric hood that went with it. Ooh, pretty good, pretty
That's
good.
very cool.
And Herbie, Herbie, the robot who is from Fantastic Four and also gives very like Tomorrowland Epcot vibes. He was there warming up the crowd.
Cute.
Herbie. I think yeah, he talks actually. And yeah, this all happened while they're warming up. But I don't know if you heard, but there were some big problems with the seating and getting people in. Have you heard about it?
No, tell me.
Breaking news. Okay, so there's big problems. Apparently, there were more guests or attendees with wristbands on that than there were seats.
Oh,
So these people who waited for wristbands waited about 2 days worth of camping out. Two
oh my
days.
God.
And so some of them, then once you got your wristband, and I believe you go back and you wait in that line to go into the actual thing. So a lot of them weren't allowed in. And to the point where after it was all said and done, Comic Con had a press release and the event producers said there were unmistakably the exact number of available seats than there were wristbands. And what they're learning and investigating is that somebody showed up with duplicate wristbands and started distributing them that was not a Comic Con representative, looking like one. So, I mean, I actually believe it. I think there's so many trolls and just horrible people out there that somehow that I heard that happened with Taylor Swift like last year in some sort of
Wow.
concert wristband thing. So I don't know. I don't know exactly what happened, but
They're gonna have to start
yeah.
putting like real
What?
spit, like QR codes or something on
Yeah.
people's wristbands to
Facial.
scan in.
Yeah, they got to do something. That's frustrating. Very frustrating. So there were very upset people. And then you
I wonder
especially
if they
find
were
out,
just like generic colored wristbands or something, because
yeah,
those
I
are
wouldn't
like
think so.
all you have to do is throw like a roll of each in your
Yeah,
pockets and
on
make it
like
through the metal
Staples.
detector, you know?
I'd like to think they're like they said something on it. So more to come. Maybe we'll find out more, but that is
Wow, that's wild.
stressful. And then, the people who found out about the cool Doctor Doom masks were probably pissed off, like I would be also. Um, but just a good sort of precaution with things like D23 coming up, like, you know, these problems happen.
Well,
These
now we don't have to worry
problems.
about that at D23 anymore, which is amazing because of the
Oh, you
Honda
do have
Center,
assigned seats, which is nice.
which is so
Yeah.
good.
Or assigned
Um,
sections, I should say.
did they do anything for those people? Like, I don't
Not
know
that I
what they
know
could have
of.
done, but
Yeah.
like two
No.
days is
Yeah.
rough. Rough.
Sorry about it is what they said, but they did try to make sure they knew it was not their fault and they had done whatever they could have to
Oh
prevent it.
shit,
So,
I just realized if they're getting wristbands 2 days ahead of time, then they have 2 days to duplicate it. I wonder if they are
oh,
giving
I
them
I
out.
shouldn't say 2 days ahead of time. People waited for 2 days in camping out.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was 2 days ahead of
And so I'm
time.
wondering if they were wristbanding them early, because then you have 2 days to
Oh,
like
no,
make it
they camped
actually
out
look
for
the
two
same.
days, got the wristbands, and then they had to go into the thing like
Oh,
that day or whatever.
crazy.
So yeah, I mean, inside assassin, maybe
Yeah,
inside.
maybe.
I don't know. Anyways, back to the cool announcements, which was the exciting part of Hall H. Uh, they announced Avengers Encore details. So we've talked about this a few times, but Avengers is coming back into theaters September 25th. Avengers Endgame specifically, leading into Doomsday, which comes out at the end of the year. But it is going to have the new footage, and they confirmed it is a must watch before watching Doomsday. And love
Wait, if it's
being
but it's not coming out to the 25th?
September 25th. Yes.
Oh, September. I thought you said December.
No.
Okay.
September
Gotcha.
25th. And I love being an armchair convention attendee sometimes because I'm just following all the online discourse and I'm not there. And so the people are just reacting and being so dramatic. It went both ways. Some people were excited because they've been looking forward to the Endgame encore. And then there's a ton of fans who are like, that's not fair because what if we don't see it in the theater and then we're not going to know what's going into Doomsday? Then I'm like, if you care that much, you're someone who would go to the theater, number one. If you care that much to be upset and crying about it. Number two, they're going to release it on Disney Plus leading up to an Doomsday. This is just like if you want to watch the new version in theaters, you have it in September 25th. So both sides of that crying game, I was just laughing at. What do you think? Bringing the debate here live, Disney Hall show.
Remind me, is this different than the original Endgame movie?
It has 10 minutes of extra footage that's
Okay.
supposed to directly connect it to Doomsday. That was not there before.
Okay. And it's not supposed to come out like just one day in the theater. It's going to be in there for a while.
I believe so. Yeah. Like I don't
Yeah,
think
then
there's going to be a shortage of seats type of thing.
it's just the same like any other movie that come like I don't they should not be crying about that. You should just go see it and
Go see
then
it.
go see Doctor Doom.
Right.
Like,
Big
what's the
deal.
problem? Or Doomsday.
So funny, the fans they get excited.
And it's
So
months ahead of time, so you have like it's a gap in between, you know, it's
yeah,
not like back to back
totally.
or something,
Like let's just be happy that we're getting our palate wet with something exciting like
right?
this. Woo! So I'm excited about that. But we like to always talk about what the other fans are saying because it's interesting and entertaining. They did talk most about Doomsday, of course, on Hall H at Hall H, and they showed a brand new trailer. OMG. And in true convention fashion, it was exclusive to people who were there. There are no phones or anything allowed. And
Hmm.
I heard there are a couple of really bad quality leaks, some people who got away with it. So I'm not looking at those because in just a day or so, Spider-Man Brand New Day will be in theaters, and that is where we will all be able to see the new Doomsday trailer. So
Nice.
just wait a couple days for that.
Those are also very close. Like that other Doomsday first official full-length trailer just came out,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it's okay. We can wait a couple days for the new one.
We can wait. The um the what's the word? The focus of this trailer, the other one was like showing a couple of a few of the different heroes we already knew, like Thor and all that. This one is showing more of Doom and Fantastic Four, which makes sense because that's where Doom is usually from, is their comic book. So that'll be interesting to see what that backstory is going to be and how much of it we're going to get in the actual movie. Be interesting. And then they had all the Doomsday cast come out. Massive group of people. Wow. Dun, dun, dun.
Hell
So,
yeah. Like,
yeah,
no wonder they
so
didn't have room
massive.
for seats.
No room for seats. Yep. And those people all have their people in the audience.
Yeah.
So, huge cast there and ending with RDJ himself coming out. And he did a little bit of the accent to get people's palate yet again wet. I don't know if you rewatched the trailer yet to see what you thought the second time on hearing
I
that
have not
accent.
rewatched it.
Okay. Maybe we'll get another accent in the trailer with his face or his metal face talking or something in the new trailer. You could judge again. So Avengers Doomsday, of course, very exciting. But outside of that, there were some other major announcements that got me very excited and hyped. So there's been some fan casting done that is done a lot in the MCU, and sometimes it comes to fruition, which is very exciting. And one of them just did. So years back in some different press tours and things, Ryan Gosling would be asked about when are you ever going to join the MCU? And he would always say, I would love to be Ghost Rider. That's my dream. So he's always wanted it, but there was always like already a Ghost Rider. At one point, it was a Nicolas Cage, and that was in the old before Disney and Marvel owned
I remember
the
that.
MCU. And I think that had two movies. What's funny is the female lead in that movie was Eva Mendes, who IRL
Wow.
is
No wonder
Ryan's
he wants to be
wife,
Ghost Rider.
right? Maybe they do some Ghost Rider cosplay at home and we don't know about it.
Hmm.
Um,
Cosplay or
ooh, role play. That's yeah, both role cosplay,
right.
role play. Now, there was another ghostwriter in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Marvel television series. So I haven't seen that one. I'm not familiar with it. So
Okay.
he was asked about this a few times, and then other like comic book fan interviewers would interview Kevin Feige, and then they would leapfrog it and say, "Hey, I was just interviewing Ryan Gosling, and he was saying he would be a great ghostwriter. What do you think, Kevin?" Put him on the spot. So they would do stuff like that. And at one of the events on a red carpet, Kevin was asked this question, and all the lights went out, like the power went out in that venue or whatever. And so it became like
What?
a video that they would show every now and then, like it's a sign he needs to be ghostwriter. And so, cut to Hall H, San Diego Comic Con this past weekend. Kevin Feige says, I have an announcement. And then all of a sudden, all the power went out, all the lights went out. Yeah.
Stop. That's so cute.
And he's like, what's happening? Is this a sign? The lights came on, and Ryan Gosling was standing center stage. And he said, meet our new ghostwriter. And then behind him was the ghostwriter logo in flames.
Nice. I just
Yeah.
got chills and
Woo!
it wasn't even there.
Wasn't even there. Hall H. So you don't need to be there. Badass announcement. So Ryan Gosling is officially announced he's joining MCU as Ghost Rider as soon as 2028 is when the movie's coming out. And it's going to be directed by Sean Levy, who not only directed Deadpool, but currently on post production from directing the new Star Wars movie with Ryan Gosling. Full circle.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, what new Star Wars movie is Ryan Gosling in?
He's now also in the Star Wars
Like
universe. So
forgetting.
it's set after the sequel trilogy. So it's like I guess most current, and it's called Starfighter, I believe. And it's a whole new story with him in it. Yeah,
Oh.
he's the lead. And apparently him and Sean were cooking up this idea for Ghost Rider and pitched it to Kevin, and
Ha.
he said, yeah. And he
Nice.
was
Very
like,
nice.
Kevin's like, I like it when it's already packaged. There's already a director. They've been known
Yeah.
by the
It's
studio
great.
already, approved by
They work well
Disney.
together. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I wonder if they're going to keep Eva Mendes in it.
Ooh, that would be cool. Come back. Multiverse. Why not? She can come from that other one.
Love it.
Now, the announcements did not end there. We also had Ryan Coogler come out, Oscar award winning of Sinners and Black Panther. He announced Black Panther 3, also coming in 2028. And he introduced David Johnson as the new I can't even say it. I'm so excited. The new T'Challa the second. So this is not someone who is recasting our favorite Chadwick. This is the son of Chadwick's character, grown up, who we met at the end of Wakanda Forever post credits.
Right.
So that's the good thing about these movies taking so long to get made is you can just grow up the son somehow, and he's now the young adult playing T'Challa the second, Black Panther. So very excited
So
about that.
Shinri or whatever her name was just got cut. They're like, nah.
She was there, she introduced him, and she's passing the mantle on for the
Okay.
third and completion of this trilogy that Ryan Coogler's doing. Ah, wow. So that was exciting. Getting to see that and
Very
that
cool.
story continuing and having Ryan Coogler come back to direct it, of course. So now he did all three. And a Marvel presentation wouldn't be complete without Deadpool crashing the party.
Ah,
So Deadpool came running through the audience in this gray denim looking suit. It's not his red suit, it's like denim. And I thought that was funny.
weird.
And so it could have been anybody, right? It could just been any Deadpool. It could have been a fan cosplaying as Deadpool. But nope, took off the mask and it was Ryan Reynolds, of
Oh
course.
wow, how cute.
Yep, just like complaining about not knowing about all these things happening and not being invited and things like Avengers Doomsday. So that's what I didn't take away whether he's in it or not. I think I might have missed it went over my head what the actual announcement was if there was one. But yeah, it was fun that he showed up. But to be a troll to the fans, okay, so this is gonna take a quick side quest. Spider-Man Brand New Day coming out very soon. There's a character that Sadie Sink plays. She's from Stranger Things, Ginger, running up a hill girl.
Okay. Yeah.
And so she's in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Nobody knows which character she's playing. It's been kept a secret, which is really why you need to go see this movie right away if you haven't decided or got your tickets yet, because it's supposedly very spoiler heavy, just like the one with the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, like very spoiler heavy. So
Okay.
this one is to, anyways, we don't know who she's gonna play. Fan speculation is she's Jean Grey from the X-Men, and this is how they're
Okay.
introducing the new recast Jean Grey. She looks like she could be her. It would be a good casting. Woo, so it's exciting. But anyways, so that's like the number one thing, and they keep denying it, and people are like, "Don't get your hype, don't get your expectations too high. It's probably just a new spider character or something like that." So, so I don't know, but I'm excited, and I'm happy either way, and I like the buzz around it. But anyways, people started saying, "What was up with Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds, jean denim suit?" So he posted after an Instagram of a Pantone color and
Mm.
of the color of the suit, and it's Jeangrey, Jean Grey, and it's a real Pantone color that's
Um,
gray wash jeans. So yeah, I don't know. Either he's trolling us or that is what it is. Love it. Either way, people are freaking out about it, flipping out.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Is there any footage of this stuff online? Like, I know you're not allowed to have phones, but do they have any footage? Like, were you able to see that?
Yes, some of it was posted by Marvel, official
Okay.
Marvel Instagram. Yes, that's a good call out. And I believe now on YouTube they posted their official stuff too.
How fun. I want to go watch that. That's
Check that
great.
out. A lot of fun pop outs. Of course, Spider-Man Brand New Day did have some promotion as well. I mean, they don't really need to at this point, but John Bernthal, who's the Punisher, he showed up, crashed it as well to promote Spider-Man Brand New Day. Meanwhile, most of the cast, and then he ended up going straight over to Hollywood, where they just had the Spider-Man Brand New Day premiere, and Zendaya looked stunning in this like black Venom crazy looking dress. So every outfit she wore to the premieres around the world had been an Easter egg to a Spider-Man character,
Oh my
almost like
gosh.
Disney
Love it.
bound but couture.
Right.
And this one was just like she saved the best for last, is what people said.
Like Nina West.
Like Nina
She
West.
always does Disney
Yes, yes,
Bound, but
that's a good
couture.
one.
Yep.
Yeah, very much like that. Like it's like a ball, like going to the ball.
Hmm.
Now, they didn't talk about other things like future Avengers movies. They didn't put up one of those huge like timelines of all the years ahead of movies. They didn't do that, which is I think is okay because sometimes they change things so often that don't get us too excited. But I think the other reason why is to whet your palate for
Right.
D23 next month and save some of that stuff like the X-Men cast announcement. They haven't done any of that yet. So, what do you think about what they're saving for D23?
It's so interesting to see these conventions so close to each other, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of wild. Um, I feel like there's not going to be much left to talk about, but I'm sure they have stuff up their sleeve.
Up their sleeve. And they haven't really said much about like Disney Plus and what's going on there. And they love to put those shows on in between.
Oh,
Uh,
they do. They love their shows.
Russo brothers says allegedly there's going to be no Marvel, maybe this is the catch, movies between Doomsday and Secret Wars. So the two Avengers movies, you're going to have to watch them together, and there's no distractions in the movie theaters between them, or there's no
Mm.
filler or no lead up to the next one. It's just going to be like the first half and the second half. Very exciting. Now, you said Comic Con and D23 are very close together, and we thought it would be fun to do a history and dive into Comic Con in general and some of these fan
Yes.
cons because I really never knew where those started either. What about you?
Yeah, no, I remember like really starting to get into the convention mindset. I don't even know what to call it because I still wasn't going, but like probably in the early 2000s was like the
Mm.
first time I started really hearing about them, you know? And I didn't go until D23. I went to like a small anime convention in the Bay Area in comparison. That was the only thing I went to before I went to D23. In fact, I'm not even sure of which came first. Probably D23. It's around the same time. Um, But yeah, I don't know too much so beyond that. So I'm excited to hear.
Well, apparently it dates as far back as the late 1930s. And
Wow,
not,
they had fans back then. Things
yeah, they
weren't
had
even old
fans of
enough yet.
things. And not necessarily Comic-Con itself, but sci-fi is what they call it, a sci-fi fan convention, which I guess, yeah, those are
Sci-fi
like,
fans go hard.
yeah, nerds and geeks.
That
And they
tracks.
had like all that kind of stuff in the pulp comics and all that. So, that was in the late 30s, and it started supposedly in New York and Philadelphia. Sci-fi obsessed fans in small clusters would find a date and create groups to meet up. These are also like meetups. That's cute.
It's so cute.
The first real con is claimed by some gentleman by the name of Frederick Pohl, and he said that he brought a group of fans from Philadelphia to meet in New York, and it was a public event open to anybody. And so he's claiming that that was the first one. So I believe him. If no one else claims it, then he's the first. 1930s.
Right.
Look at that.
Yeah, you can have it, Frederick.
And then over in Great Britain, British fans started doing the same thing in a town called Leeds. I think that's a city. Probably people know it. I don't know it. So that was in 1937. That was something that's on the books in January 1937. And a lot of that happened out of pen pal energy, pen palism, because that was how they had to communicate back then through pen pals
So
and
cute.
making friends. So you had to plan far ahead because by the time the mail came and,
Yeah,
you know,
especially if you're sending internationally.
yeah,
Back then, I don't even know if you
you
could.
can't be like, meet me next week at this place. It'd be like, meet me in two
Oh,
years,
send a carrier pigeon.
carrier
Like,
pigeon.
wow.
And then other ways they would promote it going into the 40s and 50s were through magazine letter columns. Dun, dun.
Aw, love that.
Now, before we skip to 40s and 50s, there's still some more things that happened in the 30s. In 1939, with timed with the 1939 World's Fair, which had the Worlds of Tomorrow theme, a group of sci-fi fans created what was called the World Science Fiction Convention. That was the first time they had it with a big name like that, and it was global. So that was in July 1939, and they figured they would do it while the people were visiting New York for the fair, which makes sense. About 200 people showed up to that, and
Aw,
that's
so
that was
cute.
probably a lot back then, I guess, right?
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's crazy.
200 people showed up, and they also made futuristic costumes. So this was also known to be the birth of cosplay itself.
Stop. Are
Yeah.
there photos from that? I would
1939.
love to see that.
I
It's
couldn't
probably
find any
like trip to
photos.
the moon photos or something, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
or cosplay. Oh my gosh.
Wow. All right, cut to the 1960s, and now it's not just sci-fi. Now we introduce comic books, comic book collectors, and comic book readers and fans. And so something formed in the 1960s called the Academy of Comic Book Fans and Collectors. And they started creating awards, and people love awards because when you have awards, you get to have a gala and then you get to have nominees and a whole lead up. So smart of them to start these awards. They're called the Alley Awards, like back alley awards.
Okay.
And this started in New York. And the Detroit Triple Fan Fair was the next big convention and award show to happen after that. And that was now saying, okay, outside of New York, outside of London, we're seeing fandoms pop up boop, 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 all over the place.
I'm curious to see what that looked like because now it's like 20 plus years deep into conventions.
Yeah, deep. Now
Cool.
let's head into the 70s. And a guy from that Detroit Triple Fan Fair, Shell Dorf, he moved. Guess where he moved to?
San Diego.
San Diego, sunny California, Southern California. And he met up with a gentleman named Richard Alf, who was a teenage comic book dealer at the time. And they
Okay.
decided to run their first mini convention. They called it Golden State Comic Mini Con.
Okay.
Yeah, already back then, the names were pretty long. March 21st, 1970, in the basement of the U.S. Grant Hotel in San Diego.
Stop.
Yep.
That's so cute.
100 people showed up. Pretty good considering that global one had 200, right?
How many people?
100. You got
Only
100 people to show.
100.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that was the first one. And then they did it again. Another, they called it mini-con. So maybe they were already like setting the expectations low. That was cute.
Like, listen, it's gonna be tiny.
It's very tight. They ran a second one where they got 300 people in the same basement, but this is where things got exciting because they started getting big name guests. This was more than just fans meeting other fans and fans meeting sellers. This was fans and sellers and the artists behind the content. So Jack Kirby
Yeah.
of Marvel showed up, Ray Bradbury,
Stop to the 300
sci-fi
people
author,
thing.
to the
That's
300
so
people thing.
cute.
Yep, they showed up. And this is when they started saying the con became the modern con around this time in the 70s. And it wasn't just comic books, it was all the things. So the sci-fi people showed up, comics showed up, movie fans started showing up. And that was what has been coined as the origins of San Diego's Comic Con. It went from the
How
basement
cute.
into bigger venues and then the convention center. And these people just kept passing the baton on. So San Diego Comic Con, we can officially say, started in the early 1970s.
Wow.
Wow.
Very cool.
Wow. So the versions that we know of it today, where it was in the large San Diego Convention Center, 100,000 guests, 130,000 guests was a
Wow.
milestone hit in 2010.
Oh,
Wow.
see, 2010.
2010. Yeah.
That feels like yesterday
Feels like
after the
yesterday.
rest of the things we're talking about. That's wild.
Yeah. So it still took a good, yeah, like 30 to 40 years until it got to the six figure
Wow.
digits and literally broke Guinness World Records as the
Mm.
biggest comic and pop culture event on earth that happened in 2012. They hit that milestone. So a couple things happened around 2012 after that milestone was hit and that record was broken. Hollywood started joining. And okay, there were already movie fans, but now the studios were showing up. And
Ah,
the reasons why was, first of all, free promotion and advertising.
right.
Also, free focus groups is what I was reading about. This was them being able to test the waters, which we've seen them do this with us. They dangle things in front of us at D23, right?
Yep.
And see what we think about it. So they would start announcing movie slates. They would start premiering trailers for the first time here, and they would start bringing movie stars in. So not just the comic artists, but big name celebrities would start showing up at Comic Con. And just like a lot of things, when you're like, we can't have nice things because corporate always ruins them, there was a big turning point in the 20 teens where the fandom did start pushing back and getting mad. I think we're just now used to it being so corporate synergized, but there was
Hmm.
a point when it was not, and people were upset. So, you know,
Yeah, that's always a bummer.
yeah.
Like
It,
I've been through that a few times in other things in life, and it's
yeah.
just like it changes the whole way things feel. And like I remember, do you remember the Love Parade? They called it.
Oh, yeah.
So this is in San Francisco, and I think it only ran for maybe 2 to 3 years before corporate stuff took over it. And then I just remember going to the next Love Parade. It was like this electronic music festival type of, not festival, because festival now has a whole different term. But like you think festival, you think of like EDC or something. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm thinking like it's a parade and they had different floats with different crews that did different types of music, and they would promote their club or their weekly or whatever it was, and it would float into the civic center area, and they'd have a little like all day party there, and it was really fun, and it was just like super cute and cool. And then I remember rolling up to the next one, there's like big ass like Budweiser
Uh,
signs and stuff. I was just like, oh no, like it's gone. It just doesn't feel, especially for something that was so underground, right? Because a lot of the stuff is underground at the beginning, and then they take over, and you're like, oh, we've lost it.
Corporate greed. We've seen the
Yep.
same thing happen with Pride all around the world
Mm-hmm.
and becoming corporate. It
Oh,
used to
for
be
sure.
a protest and a parade, and now it's just a big party with brands there and floats.
Yeah.
But then you get that corporate money with it too. So there you go. The
I
budget
know
goes up.
there is definitely benefits to it. Like the production value goes through the roof,
Yeah.
usually, right? Yep.
So with San Diego Comic-Con, yeah, a lot of fans were feeling those same type of emotions at some point, and it became less about fans building the convention and more about Comic-Con as an entity with their brand partners now are the ones who build the entire programming instead of the fans. And one last thing that I thought was interesting was comic books are now one of the smaller focuses of Comic-Con.
Yeah. Yep.
Whoops. It's more now about the movies and cosplay,
It's like
which it is what it
MTV.
is. Like
There's no music on
MTV.
music television.
Yeah, no more videos.
You know what I do have to say though is that D23 actually is a perfect example of this moment because while it's a Disney convention and it's for Disney, like there were already tons of little small Disney gatherings and Disney conventions, and D23 saw that and started doing it themselves. However, I will say that they do it really well, and they
Yeah.
still have plenty of like the smaller events, like all the talks that I've been going up to at the studio and like just special events throughout the whole year. So I have to give them credit because that is a big corporation. Disney. It's like one of the biggest, and they took over what us fans used to have to do. Like I was doing my own things too, like there just wasn't stuff to do. And now T23 has kind of taken over that. And, luckily there's not enough. So we still see fan stuff pop up. But so you get to see both sides of that. But
Shout out
yeah,
to D23 fan club president Michael
yeah, they do
Vargo.
really well. That's
Yeah, they
really,
do
I never
great.
thought of it that way, but I feel great still going to all of the D23 events, just like I would going to a previous corporate event.
Yeah. You get a little bit of both too, right? Like you said, you get the small panels still, the intimate things, the stuff that's outside of the events, but then you still get the celebrity panels and all that.
Yeah, you still get the big stuff at D23. Yep, I love it. That's
Now, we
great.
mentioned Ray Bradbury, who showed up at one of those early comic conventions. Did you know that he wrote the story for one of Disney World's classic attractions? The original version of it, I should say.
I feel like he did a couple.
Ooh.
Did he not do World of Motion? Am I wrong?
Spaceship Earth.
Spaceship
Dun-dun-dun.
Earth.
At Epcot. Yeah, very, very cool.
Very cool. And the Halloween tree at Disneyland.
Oh, there you go. Now, I thought that would be a good way for us to hop over to Disney and learn about exactly what you said. Like, where did they start putting the fans? When did they start putting the fans together and doing their own meetups? And of course, they wanted in on that, not just the money, but the connection to their people, their fans, the people who love their entertainment. And so a couple of things came up first. One was Star Wars Celebration, which I never went to.
Same.
Nope. I've heard of it and I knew it was really popular. And that was actually ran by Lucasfilm before Disney fully acquired it. And this goes all the way back to April of 1999. Yeah. And yeah, I wasn't going to these like cons back then either, but that
Yeah,
was
not at
kind of
all.
right after the prequel trilogies came out, I think. So yeah, I guess riding off the excitement off that, and now they have two trilogies out and two generations of fans. They launched their own fan convention, and it was a recurring fan event. It happened, I think, yearly or bi-yearly. And by the time Disney bought Lucasfilm in 2012, they had it being run by a group called Reed Pop, who are also the same people who now run New York's Comic Con,
Ah,
uh-huh. Which is another Comic Con I wish I went to the point where I was working in offices in Hudson Yards near where the convention center is for New York Comic Con, and I would see the people going by in all their cosplay,
Ah,
and we would watch them like from the office window in the corner,
that is a
but
good thing
never
to
went.
call out for Comic Cons is there's a lot of smaller Comic Cons that are in all these different cities, so you could probably
Yeah.
find one near you.
Yep. So Star Wars Celebration, real big production and got bigger and bigger. It was held at MGM Studios, eventually Hollywood Studios, and I would say is the sort of seed that Disney took on and planted before D23.
Hmm.
So they created the D23 fan club. And then along with that was what we used to call, artists formerly known as D23 Expo. I still want to call it that.
I still do. I don't even care. I'm
D23
like, you know
Expo.
what? It's too vague.
Too
There's
vague.
too much D23 to be just saying D23.
D23, yeah, there it means so many things. It's the name of the club itself, it's the name of the other events, and then there's D23 Destination D.
As I
Oh,
say
wow.
this out loud, I realize that all the previous years I've literally just said D23.
I'm
I
just going
never
to
say,
D23.
"Oh, are you guys going to the D23 Expo?" I just say, "Are you guys going
Wow.
to D23?" So fair, fair, fine.
So somebody in marketing heard that and they're like, let's just
Yeah,
drop the expo.
yeah. Like it's just
So that started in 2009. You know what that means is they overlapped at one point with Star Wars Celebration. Dun, dun, dun. And
oh
so,
yeah.
yeah, 2009, September was the first one, and that was at Anaheim Convention Center. So it started right there where it's still going strong.
Hmm.
Disney did keep their last booth, the last time Disney itself had a booth, not Marvel or whatever, was at San Diego's Comic Con 2009. And then they stopped having booths there. And then they were
Oh,
like, we're just going to open our own giant booth
right.
a couple hours north.
Taking over the whole convention center
Yep.
right after your party.
Right after your party and still going to do it every 2 years.
Hmm.
Now, at D23, they from the get-go, this was Disney owned, corporate owned, right? So they own the schedule, the exclusives. They're the ones who rent out the building with Anaheim Convention Center, and it happens to be next door to Disneyland Resort.
Perfect.
Another reason why it's stated that Disney made this decision to create the D23 Expo, the ultimate fan convention. Gosh, that's long, was the way that they could make announcements. They didn't have to compete with other studios, which again, Comic Con, because it was originally created by fans and not corporations, it's still everybody together. It's not just one company. D23, it's just their own company. So then they can do their own stuff with Marvel, now Fox, and then Disney proper, and then the parks. So they have no shortage of things to announce, and then they can decide what's going to compete with what when it comes to hype and focus, which, yeah, that makes sense. Pretty smart.
Very cool.
The thing with D23 is it does leave some conflict and confusion for fans who either want to attend both or one or the other, Comic Con or D23. And so that's always been fan speculation all the time. Is like, what are they going to announce at Expo and what are they going to announce at Comic Con? Especially this year, we got to see that play out. We just talked about how they announced a lot of Doomsday stuff, but saved a lot of the X-Men stuff, possibly for D23. So, that's going to be decisions that they make every other year when they have that competition with themselves over in San
Right.
Diego. No.
Yeah. Wild.
Wow. So there's our history lesson on comic conventions and Disney's versions of them too, which just leads us up to coming up. We have Disney D23, which you'll be going and reporting on. We'll probably have a full fun episode of that in a couple of weeks. We're still going to do another episode speculating, and then we'll have an episode where we get to hear about everything that you experienced there.
Yeah, it's gonna be a wild time, just like it is every 2 years here on Disney Holic Show. But in today's episode, we got to hear all about the history of both D23 and Comic-Con. It's really cool hearing all of the facts of fan conventions in general. And we also got a few fun, really cool informational topics at the top of the episode.
Well, thank you all for listening, and we hope you enjoyed episode 298 of the Disney Holic Show.
Follow us on social media at the Disney Holics.
And if you want to get in touch, send us a DM on Instagram or contact us at thedisneyholics.com. Okay, bye.
Goodbye.